Today, we're talking about this $380 Scepter 35-inch 1440p 100Hz monitor. This right here is the cheapest gaming ultra-wide 1440p monitor on Amazon with the high refresh rate. It literally doesn't get cheaper than this. First things first, let's talk about the specs. It features a 35-inch curved VA panel at 3440 by 1440p resolution. It comes in at a peak brightness of 320 nits. It doesn't support HDR, but it is noticeably bright. It offers a contrast ratio of 3000 to 1 and a dynamic contrast ratio of 1,000,000 to 1. It features refresh rates up to 100 Hz and an advertised response time of 4 milliseconds. It supports FreeSync and you can turn on G-Sync as well, but I've read on some Amazon reviews that G-Sync is a hit or a miss, so buyer beware. It is a flat panel, so it does handle reflections pretty good. I find the viewing angles to actually be pretty good. Not as good as an IPS panel obviously, but it's good enough. There's a very slight shift in contrast when you're looking at it from the very side, which I doubt you'll be doing anyway. The curve makes it pretty easy to see what's on the edge of the monitor without having much contrast or color shifts. It offers 3 HDMI ports and 1 display port and a headphone jack. Only one of the HDMI ports can output 100 Hz as well as the display port. It weighs 16 pounds with the stand and 14 pounds without the stand. It features that gamer look if you're into that. The build quality is solid, no lights or buttons on the front of the frame, which is good. The buttons are on the bottom, so they're quite easy to reach. It features a red light on the back. It's not RGB, and frankly, it isn't even that bright to start with. When it comes to the mount, the only adjustability it offers is tilting 15 degrees backward and 5 degrees forward. No high adjustability and no panning. It does offer Visa mount though, so you can just get an aftermarket mount if that's an issue for you. There's also a built-in headset holder in the back of the monitor, but I doubt anyone would use it because it's a pain reaching to the back every time you want to grab your headset. It also offers built-in picture-in-picture if you use this function. Now that we got the specs out of the way, it's time to talk about my first impressions, what I like about it, what I don't, my experience with it, and whether you should get it or not. First impression, this monitor is a bright monitor. So working in a bright room is not a problem. Light leaks are very minimal. The 100 Hz is nice. I wish I had more adjustability in the mount. It passed the did pixels and contrast tests no problem. It is 100% bright and 50% contrast all around the monitor. Now when it comes to content consumption, unfortunately there's black bars on the sides when watching YouTube videos because it's an ultra wide obviously. That wouldn't be a problem if you're watching ultra wide content. Otherwise, I find it to be very nice and enjoyable experience overall. Although if I turn off the lights, eventually my eyes starts to hurt because of how bright it is. When it comes to color accuracy, it covers 99% of sRGB, 77% of Adobe RGB, and 77% of P3. Definitely not the worst color accuracy I've seen. You might just need to turn down the contrast a little. Gaming is definitely a nice experience as well. Well, that is if you're playing a game that supports ultra-wide monitors. Playing Call of Duty on it, personally for me, was pretty good. Like always, 100 Hz is always better than 60, and the response time is actually pretty good. Now, when it comes to motion blur in gaming, it's acceptable. I doubt you'll notice it, but in the test that I did outside of gaming, it was a pretty noticeable amount. Just something to know. When I tested the response time, it was 3 milliseconds. I would say it's pretty good. Now, with all that being said, for the $380 that you pay for this monitor, it's definitely a great package that you're getting here, and I would highly recommend it if you do not need an IPS panel. I also want to put it out there that I definitely like any IPS panel more than this VA panel, and that's just personal preference. But if you buy this monitor strictly for gaming, I think it should be okay if you're just starting out. If not, I would say save up a little bit and buy something with a little more refresh rate, maybe something like 144 Hz. That is of course provided you have the horsepower to back it up. Dislike if you didn't like the video, but if you enjoyed it, put a thumbs up. It helps a lot. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and maybe check out one of my other videos that is of course provided. You have the time to stay watching me. I doubt you're still here anyway, but if you are, you're a legend. I love you. Peace.